EnTrade is a pioneering business specialising in creating and operating markets in the environmental services generated by nature-based solutions such as wetlands, woodlands and grasslands.
Our mission is to increase the level of private investment in nature's recovery, enabling businesses to play their part by restoring the local landscapes where their people live and work. Across the world, governments are taking on ambitious targets to restore nature. Well-designed and governed markets can help by aligning the economic incentives with nature's recovery, enabling the services delivered by nature, such as improved wildlife and cleaner water, to be paid for by those who benefit from them. Our vision is to see high-integrity markets in nature-based environmental services become a major driver of nature's recovery across the UK. We make it easy for businesses and landholders to trade certified environmental services such as nutrient reduction and biodiversity gain through a transparent, data-driven digital marketplace.
Here's how the market works. The business, known as the buyer, and in this case a building developer, informs EnTrade of the location of the development, the type and quantity of environmental credits needed, and also how much they are willing to pay. EnTrade and its project developers support landholders to supply nature-based projects that are certified to recognised quality standards. The EnTrade market then matches bids from businesses with the offers from landholders. Successful businesses then receive the rights to their credits, and successful landholders are paid to deliver their projects. The market matching generates a surplus, and successful businesses and landholders each receive a fair share of this as a discount on their credit prices or bonus payment on their projects. EnTrade then manages a robust legal framework to ensure the projects are secure, delivered to the right standard, and their environmental performance is monitored over their lifetime. Markets rely on trust. Without trust, there is no investment. Building and keeping trust relies on market integrity. This is why EnTrade markets are free from any conflict of interest on price and provide full transparency on costs, fees, and market outcomes. And they help drive private finance into nature projects, providing new wetlands, woodlands, and enhancing biodiversity. Businesses can grow whilst addressing their impact on the environment. Landholders can secure a new revenue stream, and nature is the winner.
Registering and bidding on the EnTrade's platform was very simple and easy to follow. Abbey Manor Group were successful in rounds 1 and 2, which has allowed us to obtain planning permission and start construction on one site, as well as purchase credits to support a 100-house scheme on the southwest side of Yeovil. As EnTrade are a registered provider of credits, once we were successful in bidding for the credits, the allocation certificate was provided swiftly, which enabled the local authority to make a decision and enable us to start on site.
So as a farming business, we are always looking at ways to diversify income, and phosphates as an opportunity presented itself a few years ago. We didn't know how to break into that market, so we started talking to EnTrade. We've built up a really good working relationship with EnTrade over the last 3 or 4 years, and they've given us a huge amount of support on the scientific elements of the project, the legal aspects of the project. So they've made something that's quite complicated actually quite easy. So behind us here we've got a ditch and a grass field, so we will be effectively putting a wiggle in this field that will see 8 wetland cells, which will be used effectively stripping out phosphate. There's an upstream catchment of about 100 hectares which will effectively drain into this, and we'll be able to take some of that phosphate out of the water, which will be fantastic. Private finance has been the key for this project. As much as we'd like to go and build wetlands all over the farm because it's the right thing to do, we couldn't do that as part of our business. Could we do it through government support? Probably not. So private finance has enabled us to do the right thing in the right place, and in the right place for here is a wetland project. EnTrade have been crucial for this project. They've given us the support we've needed to bring forward a reasonably complex wetland, and without their support over the last 3-4 years bringing forward this wetland project, without them it just wouldn't happen. They've been fantastic.
Wiltshire Wildlife Trust's role as project developers for the Bristol Avon catchment market involves initial scoping of potential projects through site walkovers with the landholder, which allows us to really get an understanding of current land use and to get an idea of what kinds of projects that the farmer might be interested in establishing. We also talk them through the market process so they can really understand what is involved. And then following this, we'll complete a desk-based study to assess the viability of a project based on things like statutory designations, historical features and soil profiles. And then we will undertake a baseline habitat survey, including assessing the condition of the existing habitat, which will allow us to enter the data into the statutory biodiversity metric, which will help us to calculate the unit uplift potential. Finally, we work alongside the landholder to produce an information pack, and this will contain project mapping, as well as specification and development guidance documents. And these will outline the management obligations for the landholder.
What we've delivered here is, as you can see around us, 2 acres of wetland, scrub and some neutral grassland. This is in the wettest part of this field. So it was land that we could not use for farming, it was just too wet. Deep land drains which had clogged up, and we want to take this area out of agriculture and deliver what you can see around you. And this time last year this was just a flat arable field. And then behind us, as we stand here, is a further 230 metres of hedging which runs from the wetland down to the Semington Brook, which provides some nature connectivity. The project developers were a really crucial part of this, because what they do is they sit between us and EnTrade, and we built up a really good relationship with them. Now, we just farm. We know how to plant trees, we can plant a bit of hedgerow. What we can't do is deliver a scheme like this. EnTrade were there to go and provide the marketplace, provide fundamentally the money. And what we needed is somebody that was trusted between the bridge between us, that could bring the expertise that we didn't have, but also would be a trusted partner in this relationship. And that's absolutely the function they fulfilled as we've been through now 2 projects. So I'm a farmer, I'm going to explain this in a simple way that I understand. Fundamentally, this project, the wetland around us as we stand here, is all this went in and was funded by biodiversity net gain and biodiversity offsets. So as a standalone, this washed its face from a farming perspective. But we've also done a lot more from this site. We've been soil sampling, we're sampling this site and the rest of the farm as well, so that we have a baseline for embedded carbon. Just in farming terms, as you can see, there's a lot of water around us. Previously, this water just ran off the fields. It took with us a lot of pollutants, but it also made the ground around us fairly unworkable. There's a huge amounts of co-benefits which we'll get from this land and what we've done here. But fundamentally, the biodiversity offset paid for everything we've had to do. There will be tens of thousands of me out there, and they're all struggling on small farms. And it's the small farmers are more innovative because they have to be, but they don't have the capital to be innovative. They want to be innovative. The bigger states can do it and will actually probably dominate this market. But I so care about small farmers, small family farms that are just being crushed, and I want them to find a way of surviving. And this is it. This is absolutely the way to do it.